Welcome to General Chemistry 2. This is Jennifer Sanyel, your teacher for this subject. Our first topic is actually about intermolecular forces, liquids, and solids. So the kinetic molecular theory of solids and liquids actually tells us about the particle arrangement of your solid and your liquid. So as you can see in this image, for your solids, they're actually compactly arranged, while for the liquid, the molecules are actually freely moving. Okay? So the movement of your solid particles are held by very strong forces of attraction, and the particles are not free to move. So the particles simply vibrate about in fixed positions. While for liquids, they are actually held by strong forces of attraction, and the particles are able to slide past one another. Okay, so for solids, their density is very high, while for the liquid, it is simply high. The solids are um, extremely slowly diffused, while for the liquid, slow ang kanilang diffusion or diffusibility. Okay, so solids are slightly compressible as well as your liquids, and for the volume and shape, you already know this already. So solid has a fixed volume and shape, and your liquid assumes the shape of the container it occupies, and it has fixed volume. Okay, now in kinetic molecular theory, we also relate its thermal expansibility. So it expands slightly when heated for the solids, while it also expands slightly when heated for the liquid. So light lang yung expansion because of heat. Okay? So the kinetic molecular theory, or the KMT, actually states that when you increase the kinetic energy or the temperature, there's actually a decrease in the intermolecular forces. Okay? So for the solids, as you could see, the molecules are compact. So liquids are slightly moving, while for the gases, yung mga molecules are freely moving. Okay? Now, what are intermolecular forces? So that would be the highlight of our video. Now, let's just have a recap of the states of matter. So, as you could see, the fundamental difference between the states of matter is actually the distance between the particles. So, now that you are in senior high school, you should not just differentiate the states of matter by its different characteristics. So, kailangan, ito na yung um, more advanced description or differentiation of the states of matter. Okay? So for gases, there is total disorder and there's much empty space. While for the liquid, minimum disorder and the particles or clusters of particles are free to move relative to each other. Okay? So for the solid, there is the ordered arrangement of your particles. Okay? Now, because in the solid and liquid states, particles are closer together, we refer to them as the condensed phases. The state of a substance is in at a particular temperature and pressure depends on two antagonistic entities. So one is the kinetic energy of the particles. So we define your kinetic energy as the energy in motion. And also, we have the strength of the attractions between the particles. Okay? So yung attraction, yun yung ating pag-uusapan in this video today. Okay, now we have two types of forces of attraction. We have the intermolecular attraction and the intramolecular attraction. Okay, so here in the intermolecular, so you have two different molecules. So usually they are weak but strong enough to control their physical properties. While for the intramolecular attraction, these are the force which keeps the molecules together. This one. So it's similar to your bonding. Okay? So the intermolecular attraction is also the attractive force between your molecules. So it is responsible for keeping matter in solid or in liquid phase. Okay? Now these are the basic types of the intermolecular forces of attraction. So first we have the dispersion forces. So it actually involves temporary dipoles. Okay? When we talk about dipoles, it refers now to the separation of the charges of your molecules. Okay, so later on in the next slides you would see an image of your dipoles. Okay, so this table summarizes the different types. So let's just have an overview. So for the dispersion forces, they occur between non-polar molecules and they're very weak. Okay, so when you increase the boiling point, there would be a decrease in the freezing point. Okay, now dipole-dipole molecular force are happening in permanent dipoles and they occur in polar molecules. So they are weak forces. Okay, so it is just a weak attraction. Let's just have the effects of the BP refers to the boiling point, MP refers to the melting point, and FP refers to the freezing point. Okay? So, later na lang natin siya daanan. Okay? Now, hydrogen bond. So, these are permanent dipoles between hydrogen and fluorine, oxygen, and nitrogen. So, it happens in your polar molecules and the strength is at the medium level. Well, the strongest among the intermolecular forces is the ion dipole force of attraction. So, it happens in a full ion and dipole. So, what is an ion? So, recap. So, these are your charged elements. Okay, so this attraction happens in your polar molecules. Okay, let's go to your dispersion forces. So these actually result from the formation of temporary dipoles as illustrated here. You have two non-polar diatomic molecules. So you see, ito siya, yung separation na sinasabi natin. So this is the dipole moment. Okay, so there's the unequal distribution of the electrons. So you see here, these are the partially negatively charged. And you have here the partially positive. Yung symbol na to represents partial. Okay, partial positive and partial negative. And you see a very weak attractive force. Yet, kahit na weak siya, meron pa ring attraction. Okay? So, it is also known as the London dispersion forces. So, these are attractions between your instantaneous dipole and an induced dipole. So, when we say instantaneous dipole, it means it is a dipole at the moment, while an induced dipole is triggered to be dipole for the attraction, okay, for the attraction to happen, okay. So these forces are present in all molecules, whether they are polar or non-polar, and the tendency of an electron cloud to distort, as you can see, but there is a difference in the shape. The tendency of an electron cloud to distort in this way is called polarizability. So next we have dipole-dipole interaction. So this happens when your molecules that have permanent dipoles are attracted to each other. So in this picture you see, here you have solid red lines. So this represents the interaction between any two opposite charges. Well, this one would represent, the dashed blue lines would represent the repulsive charges. Okay? So the positive end of one is attracted to the negative end of the other and vice versa. So these forces are only important when the molecules are close to each other. So when you increase the distance, there will be much less interaction. Okay? So, yan. So, in this image, you see two arrangements of the polar molecules, such as your hydrochloric acid. So, it allows an attraction between the partial negative end of one molecule and the partial positive end of the other. Okay? So, it could be done at this way, or ganito naman na opposite sila. Okay? So, for dipole-dipole interactions, the more polar the molecule, the higher is its boiling point. Okay? So, here are some examples of your substances or molecules, or I mean compounds. So, yan. Now, hydrogen bonding, as mentioned, ano siya? Bonding of hydrogen to nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine. Okay? So, we call these interactions simply your hydrogen bonds. So, hydrogen bonding arises in part from the high electronegativity of these elements, nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine, okay? So, also, when hydrogen is bonded to one of these very electronegatives, the hydrogen nucleus is actually exposed. Kasi nga, bonded na yung mga electrons niya, okay? So, last we have the ion dipole charge, the ion dipole interaction. So, this is an important force in solutions of ions, okay? So, the strength of these forces are what makes it possible for ionic substances to dissolve in polar solvents. Okay? So, you have here the cation dipole attraction. So, cation yung nasa center, while the other one, we have the anion dipole attraction. So, as you can see, these are the partially positive side attracted to the very strong attraction of the anion. So, same din dito sa cation natin. Okay, so for you to further analyze your intermolecular forces, you may ask yourself these following questions. Okay, so follow the flow chart. So, do you have interacting molecules or ions? So, are ions involved? If yes, you ask yourself, are polar molecules and ions both present? If yes, then it is an ion dipole force. But if it's not, so it is an ionic bonding. So, we'll have a separate lecture on that. So, if ions are not involved, you ask, are polar molecules involved? So, if yes, you ask yourself, are hydrogen atoms bonded to nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine? So, if no, it is a dipole-dipole force. But if yes, it is simply your hydrogen bonding. Okay? So, if no polar molecules are involved, then these are simply your dispersion forces or the induced dipoles. Okay? So now let's go to the physical properties affected by the intermolecular forces. Okay, so the strength of the attractions between particles can greatly affect the properties of a substance or solution. Okay, so first we have your surface tension. So surface tension actually results from the net inward force experienced by the molecules on the surface of a liquid. Okay, so another is viscosity. So viscosity refers to the resistance of a liquid to flow, and it's related to the ease with which molecules can move past each other. Okay, so viscosity actually increases with stronger intermolecular forces, and it decreases with higher temperature. Okay. So, yan, you could see na adhesion versus cohesion. So, adhesion is the attraction between unlike molecules. So, as you could see here, the liquid is attracted to glass. While for here, you have cohesion. It is the intermolecular attraction between like molecules. So, here, you would see now the attraction of the liquid to each other. Okay? So, dito, kaya umakyat yung water, it's because of adhesion. While here, kaya sila together, it's because of cohesion. Nagets ba? Okay? So, once na na-attract ngayon itong molecules na to, paakyat, or I mean to the glass, pwede siyang mag-adhere. Okay? So, you have adhesion. Okay? So, yung viscosity, sabi nga natin, resistance of a liquid to flow. So, when you decrease, it decreases with higher temperature. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, mas madaling mag-flow ngayon yung liquid pag mas mataas ang temperature. Okay? We also have your vapor pressure and boiling point. So, vaporization is actually a broader term that includes evaporation and also boiling. Okay? So, you may think that gas and vapor are the same, but actually they're not. So, they're just similar because yung vapor is actually a gaseous state of a substance, which is normally a liquid or solid at room temperature. While yung gas, it is the state of matter. Okay? So, the volatile substances are substances that evaporate readily. Example, yung alcohol, gasoline, paint thinner, and dry cleaning solvents. Okay, try nyo mag-iwan ng bottle of alcohol open. Siguro iwan nyo siya for a week. Makita nyo na nag-decrease yung amount. Okay, so yun. Madali siyang mag-evaporate. Okay. Vapor pressure, so at any temperature, some molecules in a liquid have enough energy to escape. Okay, so as the temperature rises, some molecules that have enough energy to escape actually increases. So here, as you see, when there is an increase in kinetic energy, ayan, some of the molecules will be actually moving out. Okay. So, the vapor pressure is actually the equilibrium pressure of a vapor above its liquid or solid. Okay? Or the pressure of the vapor resulting from evaporation of a liquid above a sample of the liquid in a closed container. So, once you increase the temperature, there's an increase in evaporation time and there's also the increase in vapor molecules. Now, if there's an increase in the vapor molecules, it would equate to the increase also of your vapor pressure. Therefore, an increase in temperature would mean an increase in vapor pressure. Okay, so next we have your boiling point. So, di ba, pag nagpapakulo tayo ng water, pag nakita natin at 100 degrees, kahit wala tayong thermometer, alam natin na nagbo-boil na yung water. Kasi yun yung property of water. Okay? So, the boiling point is a temperature at which its vapor pressure equals to atmospheric pressure. So, the normal boiling point is a temperature at which its vapor pressure is 764. Okay? So, on the right, you have now the different boiling temperatures, or I mean boiling point of different liquids. So we have here the diethyl ether, then you have your ethyl alcohol, and your water. Okay? So kapag pinagsama mo ang ethanol and water, di ba usually yung wine, or yung mga alcoholic beverages, try nyo silang pakuluin, makita nyo na mag-evaporate, unang ma-dissolve, or unang quote-unquote, kukulo ang alcohol. Okay? So, since alcohol is volatile, mas madali siyang mag-vaporize. Tapos, kasi nga, at 78.3 degrees Celsius, ano na siya, nag-boil na siya. So, pag in-increase mo pa siya, matitira na lang ay yung water content ng alcohol. Okay? So, yan. You see? So, in the boiling point, water in gas state actually escapes in the liquid. Okay? So, here, the bubbles contain water in the gas state. Okay? At this point, yung vapor pressure is equal than or greater than the atmospheric pressure. Okay? Now, let's just have an overview of the energy changes associated with changes of state. So, we have the heat of vaporization, or this is the amount of heat needed to vaporize a given amount of liquid at its boiling point. Okay? So, substances with strong intermolecular force have a high heat of vaporization kasi kailangan natin ng mas mataas na energy para ma-convert them into a gaseous state. Next, we have not yet the next one. Ano pala to? So, here we actually have a graph that actually tells us the heat of vaporization. Okay? So, the heat added to the system, so you would see here the changes in the phases. Okay? So, for example, here, it is at itong A to B, solid pa siya. So, it's ice. Then, it starts to melt. So, ice and liquid water here. Then, you have here this phase until 100 degrees Celsius, naging water na siya, etc. Okay? Mamaya, meron tayong another discussion on this. Okay? Now, the heat added to the system at the melting and boiling points goes into pulling the molecules farther apart from each other. So again, kinetic molecular theory. So as you increase the temperature, there's an increase in kinetic energy. There's a separation of your molecules. Kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng phase change. Okay? Now, we also have heat of fusion. So, it is the energy required to change a solid at its melting point to a liquid. So, it's just the opposite of your heat of vaporization. Now, let's discuss the structure and properties of water. I know you already know this already, okay? So, yung biosphere, it is actually 95% salt water and only 5% is fresh water, okay? So, our bodies are actually 70% water and it is a very, very important compound, okay? So, water break tayo. Here, I have a glass of water. Yan, refreshing ang water, no? So, let's have a closer look at water using this short movie. So, this is your water molecule. You have your oxygen and hydrogen. So, it has polar ends, a slightly negative charge, and a slightly positive charge. Okay, so this would allow your water to hydrogen bond with other molecules. Okay, this is what happens when two water molecules meet. Water is held together by hydrogen bonds. And, okay, so you see the bonding. So, hydrogen bonds are actually the weak bonds resulting from your bonding. Okay, so the water cling together through hydrogen bonding. Okay, so that's all. Kita nyo na yung bonding kung paano. Just a short animation. Okay, now let's have These are the properties of water. So we have high boiling point, high specific heat, high density in its liquid form, high heat of vaporization, and high surface tension. Now, let's go to the types and properties of solids. So, we actually have two types, the crystalline solid and the amorphous solid. So, for the crystalline solids, the particles are arranged in an orderly manner. For the amorphous solids, there's no particular order of arrangement of the particles. Okay? So, crystalline solids are arranged as a unit cells. Meron pong pattern. So, yan yung mga different types ng unit cells according to their shape. So, here are also the arrangements of your crystals. Pwedeng primitive, body-centered, and pwedeng face-centered cubic. Okay? Now, these are the types and properties of solids. So, according to shape, nas na-define na natin kanina, for crystalline, it's definite and it has a geometrical form. Yung amorphous, wala siyang definite geometric form. Okay? So, melting point of your crystalline solids are well-defined, while for the amorphous solid, they melt over a wide range of temperatures. Okay? So, compressibility, your crystalline solids are rigid and cannot be compressed. Your amorphous solids are, some are soft, like graphite. Okay? Now, cleavage is perfect for crystalline solids, while for the amorphous solid, it is irregular. Okay? So, yung cleavage is yung surface kapag nag-break siya. Okay? Or broken into pieces. So, examples of crystalline solids are salt, sugar, snow, and minerals. Amorphous solid example is glass, rubber, and some of your plastics. Okay? Types of crystals, there are actually four types. You have the molecular, covalent network, ionic, and your metallic crystals. Okay, so ang focus natin dito would be the forces between the particles. Okay, so yung molecular crystals, they have London dispersion forces, dipole-dipole forces, or hydrogen bonds. So they're fairly soft. They have low to moderately high melting point. So examples of these are methane, sucrose, dry ice, and your carbon dioxide. For covalent crystals, you also have, it is held together by covalent bonds. So they're very hard, they have very high melting point, and examples of these are your diamond and quartz. So for ionic crystals, they're held together by electrostatic attractions. They're hard and brittle with high melting point. They have poor thermal and electrical conduction. So examples of these are your typical salts. And last, you have your metallic crystals. So they're held together by metallic bonds. So they're soft to very hard, and they have low to very high melting point. So examples of these are all metallic elements. So next, let's go to phase changes. So these are already discussed in your General Chemistry 1. So as you could see now, this is just an easier diagram for you to visualize now the changes happening from solid to liquid, liquid to gas, and vice versa. Okay? Now, the phase changes could also be observed in your heating and cooling curves of a substance. Okay? So, the phase changes could also be observed using your heating curve. So, yan. Later on, we'll have another diagram. So, yan. We'll be using your phase diagram. So, they actually display the state of a substance at various pressures and temperatures and the places where equilibrium exists between the phases. Okay? So, you have here different points. So first, let's have the AB line. So this is the liquid vapor interface. So this is it actually starts at the triple point. So this is the point at which equilibrium states are in equilibrium. So in this phase diagram, let's see now the AB line. So this is the liquid vapor interface. So it starts at this point, at the triple point. So it is the point at which all three states are in equilibrium. Okay? So it ends at the critical point B above this critical temperature and critical pressure, the liquid and the vapor are indistinguishable from each other. So, pag lumampas na dito, hindi na natin ma-identify kung liquid ba siya or gas. Okay? So, each point along this line is the boiling point of the substance at that pressure. So, next, we have the AD line. So, this is the interface between the liquid and solid. Okay? So, the melting point at each pressure can be found along this line. Okay? So, next, so below the A, the substance cannot exist in the liquid state, so it could actually exist only as gas. Okay, so along the AC line, the solid and gas phases are in equilibrium. So this is the sublimation point at each pressure. You could see them along this line. So the phase diagram would actually give you the characteristics of your matter. Okay, so dito sa purple side, so at solid phase siya. So when you cross this AD line, it would be your liquid phase already. So pag nag-move siya dito sa orange na phase, it would be turned into gas. Okay, so the phase diagram would give you the different melting points and boiling points of your substance. Okay, so I hope you learned something from this video. So if you have questions about intermolecular forces, liquids, and solids, you may comment them down below or you may send me a personal message. Okay, so again, I hope you learned something from this video. Bye!